Join Bob Kolazarik as he welcomes a diverse array of guests to the enlightening talk show, Greetings from the Ashram. In each episode, Bob sits down with experts and practitioners from the world of complementary healing modalities, spirituality, and holistic wellness to delve into the transformative power of these practices. From ancient traditions to cutting-edge therapies, Greetings from the Ashram offers viewers an insightful and uplifting journey into the realms of mind, body, and spirit. So now, please welcome your host, Bob Kolazarik.
Hello, everyone. Namaste and welcome. I am Bob Kolazarik, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's show. Today, I have the honor of introducing Lena Sofie, a true luminary in the realms of healing and transformation, with a master's degree in somatic psychology, a bachelor's degree in Buddhist psychology, and a wealth of experience as a somatic experiencing practitioner, yoga teacher, and therapist, as a initiated Mayan Fire and Water Priestess and astrologer. Lena stands as a beacon of wisdom with over 30 years of dedicated service and guiding individuals towards healing and growth. Through her profound expertise in shamanism, psychotherapy, yoga, and ceremonial practices, Lena has touched countless lives, illuminating paths of healing and empowerment. So join us as we delve into her transformative journey and glean insights on reclaiming destiny and embracing life's journey with grace and purpose. So get ready for an enlightening conversation with Lena Sofie. Welcome to the show, Lena.
Thank you. It's so lovely to be here.
Oh, it's so awesome to be here. I feel like you and I are kindred spirits. We have a couple of mutual friends, and we had our meeting before we talked and got to know each other a little bit. So, I always am interested in, and I say we're kindred spirits because we had, spiritual awakenings at a pretty young age, in our teen years, and you're no different. So. Than me in that regard. So can you tell us about your awakening and what happened with you?
Yeah. And I want to share that story today, kind of like from the art of storytelling. And that storytelling can be a form of medicine. So when I mean medicine, it's something that can actually heal us, inspire us. So everything that I'm going to be sharing today is not really because I want to talk about myself, but it's kind of to give a story of inspiration for other people.
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, when we tell our stories and what we've been through, then people can relate, like, what, I've had that experience or that. So I agree. It's such an important thing to just share and tell.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do today, kind of go through a progression. So we're going to start when I was 15 years old, where I fell into depression. So a diagnosis from any psychiatrist would say that I had anxiety and depression. And I was a sensitive teenager that was quite concerned with the state of the planet and the way that we were going in consumeristic, materialistic Western society that wasn't really, from my perspective, living in harmony with Mother Earth. I don't know why, but without any exposure to indigenous culture or teachings, I had a knowing of that there was another way to live on planet Earth because I grew up in a Western way in American society without any spirituality or even religion. So I was suffering deeply as a sensitive being, and it got quite dark to the point that I didn't want to live. And it changed for me when I started to be called to nature. So it's kind of like nature started calling me out to her, and I started taking long, long walks in the woods of New Jersey and communing with the animals, the spirits of the land, the sky, bears, hawks, butterflies, and that dark depression where I didn't want to live anymore started to ease up when I started to see that there was a natural world that I could lean into that was alive. And So that was kind of like the first step. And then there was one evening, I was actually at a rock concert, and someone had told me previously about meditation. I never heard about that before. So it was like just a visualization of visualizing a light in front of me. And I just decided for some reason to do that in the rock concert, surrounded by all of these people. And I didn't even have to try. The light became real right away. The light rushed through me, came in through my heart and out of my solar plexus. And it was about a 10-second experience. When I opened my eyes, I knew I had a soul. And that changed my whole entire path for the rest of my life. Because if the fact that I knew that I had a soul, that meant I had a destiny, that meant that there was a reason for me to live. So all of that meaninglessness and hopelessness that I was experiencing and feeling before melted away. And from that moment on, I kind of started to walk a spiritual road, seek it as well.
And so you were 15 at that time, or 15, 16. You started
Yeah,
having these experiences.
15, 15, like a whole year of depression where I was barely hanging on to life. And then when I was 16, that spiritual awakening happened. And I actually entered a my own spiritual mythos. Because again, I had no adults guiding me. I had no religion or spirituality guiding this whole experience. I had Native American spirits actually in the woods that would commune with me. And again, the animals. And then there was also memory, past life memory. So back then I was seeing it as past life. Now I kind of see that there's past parallel lives, like it's all at one, it's all happening now, which is kind of hard to fathom. But that was also feeding the memory of what I felt like was home to live in on Mother Earth. It was actually a lot of Plains Indian, Native American memories that I was having. So the teepee, the fire, the open plains, those were those feelings I was having, hawks and eagles, deer. And that was giving me a sense of place, even though I might not have had it in my everyday life going to high school, which was torture.
Yeah, well, a couple things. You're not the first person on the show that have had that experience that shared with us. It's like I didn't have this spirituality, and then Mother Earth was just calling to me, and then it just opened up something within you. It's just a natural and a beautiful thing. But I also had a year like you, like 15 to 16, where I just wanted to check out too. So really, and I didn't mean to chuckle when you were saying that. I was just chuckling, like, because I know that feeling, and it's just despair. You don't know how to handle the world around you. Ours is a little bit different. Maybe I wasn't really drawn to Mother Earth per se, but there was just a lot going on
Right.
at the time. So that's why I say we're kindred spirits. I get you, and I totally understand it. Um, so how was this start leading into your work in psychology and different traditional healings?
Yeah. So then, like from like 17 to 18, there was like a woman in a local town who had a new age bookshop. So that was kind of like the way that that was my first exposure to that there was mystical teachings, ancient texts. She let me come to all of the Tai Chi, yoga, and hypnotherapy classes for free. So that was my introduction to more that was actually traditions that I could lean upon and learn from. And then the next step, I think, for me was that I wanted to find people like me. So that was like very, like when you're a teenager, you're like raw and beautifully naive and like more authentic than most people, right? So I wanted real people like me. And so I went to the Institute of American Indian Arts for a year because that's an all Native American school. They only accept 1% of people that are not Native American, which I am not in this lifetime. So that's when I entered the Native American world and learned a lot about the true history, which we don't learn in school. I learned about genocide and hard stories, and at the same time about serpent mound in Cahokia, and that there's like pyramids in the United States of America, northern United States of America. And I started to have more memory and entered the Native American world, living in the Southwest for quite a while. So that opened up for me the chance to see and participate in Native American ceremony, to see that there's healing ways of Mother Earth, of tradition that goes way, way back in time. And then at the same time, during my depression, I had so many therapists that were kind of like textbook therapists, where I was like literally looking across at them like, they cannot help me because they're just reading out of a textbook. They haven't experienced their soul. They haven't gone to the mystical world. I've already transversed those spaces. And how can they help me? You know, they were really dry. They had good intentions. So because of that, I felt like I would like to bridge psychology, modern day psychological arts, with the ancient ways of healing. Call it the medicine ways, call it the traditional indigenous ways, call it the shamanism, and join them. So I sought out on that quest, and ended up at Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado for my bachelor's and master's. Because I knew that I didn't want to study clinical, normal Western psychology. I needed that. I needed a type of school that was going to be based on that body, mind, spirit is one. So that's why I chose Naropa, which was an amazing school back then to go to.
So it's very fascinating. I just want to throw this in. When I started like communicating with my spirit guides and knew they were there, you know, I was 18, but I did have like one of the visions was American Native Elder as my main guide, you know, and I don't know who it was, but, you know, very regal, you know, looking elder, you know, chief. So yeah, I'm very drawn to the American Indian culture too. I really am. I just love the ancient wisdom, and I just hate to think what we lost or what we can possibly lose. And if there's any way to save any of that knowledge, we need to do that. So, so what about ceremonies? What have you kind of Peruvian ceremonies? What other ceremonies did you learn at that time? Were you
Yeah,
right?
so it's like this is a short show, you know, like every one of these aspects I could expand into long stories. But before we go into that, I would like to say just my realization of, well, in my undergraduate studies at Naropa, I started to realize after studying myth, symbol, um, Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, uh, mysticism, world religions, just archetypes in general, also Jungian psychology, that I was like, wait a minute, especially when it comes to the shaman story about how shamans come into their power. And it's usually through a deep suffering and trial. And then I started to look differently at that depression at 15 and 16. And I was like, wow, that was my first initiation. That was actually initiation. Because what I also find that depression and anxiety, I hold those experiences sacred. We often want, especially anxiety, we want to push it away because we can't breathe. There's a sense of like angst in the body. Yet it's a very difficult time to go through. Yet there is something, I see it as something wanting to erupt from within. The soul wants to come through. The higher self wants to come through. There's something that wants to be lived through one. And in order for that to happen, a part of you has to die. And so that can be a painful process. So I saw that my 15, 6-year-old experience was an initiation into the underworld with the darkness and depression and wanting to die. And then the overworld, which is like the shaman's journey up the tree of life, to learn about like heaven, great spirit, creator, that there is a purpose to life. And then you bring that knowledge down from the heavens to be lived here on this earthly plane between the overworld and the underworld. So that's when also things started to change for me, seeing that that was my first initiation that was graced by spirit. It wasn't graced by a tribe or an ancient tradition, but it had those codes. It was given to me naturally. And initiation takes three parts. It's a separation from the tribe or from the way of being that you had before, or the community or the group. Then you go through an experience that absolutely transforms you, but usually it goes through challenge and trial. And then when you come back from that, you come with more wisdom and light, and that is meant to be given to the world. And oftentimes, if it's done within a tribe, you're given a new name, a new role. And so my graduate studies, because I had already had so many initiations, not just from Great Spirit, but from Native American and Central and South American initiation ceremonies, I wanted to write about that this is very important. Rites of passage are something that we have lost. We have lost these initiation ceremonies.
I have to interrupt you a quick second. But yeah, I never really understood what initiations were, and I feel like I've been burned to a crisp a couple of times, and some different experiences where you just feel like you rise out above, like a phoenix per se. But I do have to take a short commercial break. So I am your host, Bob Kozarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We'll be right back after this.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBN Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Bob Kozarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. I'm back with Lena Sofie. Hi, Lena. Thank you for being here today. I'm really enjoying the conversation. Very riveting. I was just really so into what you were saying. But as we were heading for break, I was telling you about my experience, just kind of a couple of experiences where, like in a meditation or something, and I just felt like I was like burned to a crisp. I'm like literally sweating, and just having a tough time. So
Yeah. And that's what I was like, thanks for sharing that, because, these initiations can be moments in time, and then they could last for years where we're like in a dark night of the soul, And so I bring these things up. So like that was your natural initiation. So we can get initiated through dark night of the soul and very difficult periods of time in life. And I bring that up so that people can begin to honor those times. It's very, very uncomfortable. And believe me, I've had so many dark night of souls that I really know that what deep suffering is like, and we can't see the light, but it will always change. Everything changes. And so I just want to give that message today that there is a gift in the darkness. There's a light that comes through. And often if we look at traditional initiation ceremonies, they're extremely challenging. And I'll just talk about three of them, just three examples of ones that I've gone through. that weren't just graced by spirit. The first one, I was 21 years old, and I was studying with in the ayahuasquero tradition, and I was studying one-on-one with a healer, and learning how to lead the ceremonies, learning how to heal with light, learning how to heal with the plants. And he isolated me for 2 weeks in a hut, a jungle hut, where I wasn't allowed to have books, music, no stimulation whatsoever, just me and four walls. No talking for 2 weeks. I was only left that room to go to ayahuasca ceremonies, and there I couldn't talk either. I was fed very bland food, no spices, no salt, rice, fruit, fish, basically, and was given plants to restore my nervous system so that I could hold body lightning. I could hold light to heal. And so he said to me before I went in that when you get done with this ceremony, you will know who you are and why you came to Earth. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to try to be in the moment. I'm going to meditate every day. And yeah, I did that a little bit. But I was taken on a journey to my past to see all of the dark holes, all of the wounding. And I had to walk through pus and poison and pain to heal all of that. And then eventually there was that, everything he said, my teacher said, happened. I had an epiphany, an opening from my heart chakra, and I could really see more of the vision of what I had to do in the future. So in that example, the challenge was to be isolated and not to speak and to have no stimulation. Then there is Hamblecha Vision Quest, which is a 4-year commitment. So that's one part of it. It's 4 years commitment. You're up on the mountain. It's kind of called, it's Vision Quest. Typically, people know that as that word. No isolation, 4 days, 4 nights in the elements. You can't leave your little circle. You have no food, no water. And each one of those ceremonies, you have to fear. I feared lightning. I didn't fear so much coyotes or the animals in the night. I feared the lightning storms striking all around me. If it rains, you put a plastic tarp on top of you, like you're there. You have to face the darkness. You have to face your aloneness. And so also with Sundance, the same thing, but you're doing in a community on the hot sun. I also did that for 4 years. So it's a commitment, 4 years, no food, no water, but there you're moving, you're dancing. It's a spiritual war almost. It shouldn't be, but it can be, because there's so many energies coming through when you're dancing around the sacred tree of life. So the challenge is to so many things, to battle with the energies, but also when you don't have food and water, you go over to the spirit world, and that's where you receive vision. So those are the gifts of going through trial. And it's also the gift of going through a depression or a divorce or a loss where you don't even know where you're going to go.
No, I can relate to that. I've been divorced twice, and my second divorce, I think they were both learning, kind of like very different people, but the lessons were the same. But the second one is when I veered off down this more deeper spiritual path, and really, really started getting more into it. So I love what you said about, basically lightening your body in order to be a healer, because that's what we do in my practice, Arhatic yoga. We focus on our virtues and making that connection with our higher soul or spirit or whatever you like to call it. But as that connection, like you say, increases, right, you get more light that comes through you, and you purify yourself by eating the right way, vegetarian or the best you can. Then you strengthen your body, and it allows yourself to be a stronger vehicle, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree, and that's what I love about my practice and the healing aspect that I do too. So, moving on, let's talk about the Mayan tradition. Can we move on to that? And how did you find that through your shamanism and these different vision quests and stuff, such?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about destiny a little bit later, but I know it was destiny because already also at 18 years old, I knew things about the Mayans where I had no exposure whatsoever. So again, you don't have to believe in past lives, but some people do, and they have that palpable experience, or parallel lives because they're happening now.
I do. I believe in all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe a lot of people who watch this show because it has that spiritual tendency, you know, but it
I would
is
hope so. I would hope so.
easy. What'd you say?
I said I would hope so. I would hope that to the audience.
Right. So this is probably like 15 years ago, or 14, 15, I would say it started. I was walking on the side of the road in El Salvador, and already I had the intention that my next step of studying or learning or initiation was going to be with the Mayans. I wanted to be with the Mayans. I wanted to capture that memory. And I love how the synchronicity in life works. I was just walking on the side of the road, and these two men decided to ask me, one American and one Guatemalan, if I wanted a ride. And he said, yeah, it's 15 minutes, and we were going to the same place. And I felt safe. So those 15 minutes, we start talking about Mayan traditions and shamanism and my interest in that. And then he says, oh, my aunt is a Mayan fire priestess. So that's how that door opened up for me. And I went to Guatemala to study.
Oh, wow. From
Yeah,
that, all right.
right. That's because I had the intention, and then Great Spirit, like opened the door for me because it was my destiny.
Well, I am one that always preaches that synchronicities and coincidences, they're just messages from our guides to kind of give us a little direction and like, hey, yeah, this is the right way to go. So I love that. I love
Love it
hearing
too.
stories about that.
Yeah. And that's also what a lot of the ceremonies are about, or anything. Ceremonies are good for opening that door to the profane. So we are mostly locked into the mundane world, especially the way the world has become now. And the ceremonies help us open up that door to the magical world, to the other world, which we need. We can't just survive. We dry up when it's just the mundane, 3D, every day. That's a beautiful, practical world. But if you don't infuse it with spirit, our life becomes meaningless. So synchronicities are when like that hand of spirit comes through into your life. So I can tell you a little bit about what it was like to be initiated down in Guatemala, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm totally interested in hearing about that for sure.
So I actually became a water priestess and a fire priestess of the Mayan tradition. So first I started with the water, and that required purification. So I was bathing myself with certain herbs, again, really eating clean, refraining. I was kind of like in retreat, refraining from a lot of exposure to people and the outside world. And I'm also going to just talk now about the fire because they're quite joined. With the fire, I had to do 20 fire ceremonies in different altars throughout Guatemala. And as you're doing these fire ceremonies, I was learning how to count the Mayan calendar, the days, which each day in the Mayan calendar has an energy. And that energy is ruled by a day sign, which is ruled by a spirit called the Nawales. And so I had to develop a relationship with each one of these 20 spirits. And that you do through experience. So this is an oral tradition passed down for at least 13 generations in the lineage of Don Alejandro Cirillo Perez Oxla. He's quite a famous Mayan leader and a leader of the Council of the Americas. My teacher studied with Don Alejandro, Doña Carla, and so I was listening, I was absorbing, I was doing the fire ceremonies, I was traveling, I was walking the Mayan path. It's called the walk of the fire, and absorbing the tradition. And learning how to count the days, learning how to work with the energies. So these Nawales, they're alive. They're living beings, and they're very beautiful. I have two little stories. One is of Ik, the hummingbird, and it's one of the ones that's very strong in my Mayan astrological chart. But that's one of the ways I was like beginning to experience that they're of course they're alive, of course they're living spirits. But again, that's just a concept until you experience it. So during one of the Mayan fire ceremonies, the hummingbird Ik came, and it was like fluttering in my ear. It was so palpable, the way that we hear a hummingbird when it flies, but it wasn't really there. It was there in the spirit world.
I got you. No, that's awesome. I mean, that is awesome. And I love ceremonies. We have our ceremonies too. Like we have a water purification, that we do at our retreats and stuff. Tell me a little bit. What is yours? Is just like bathing with salts? What is your water purification?
Yeah, so the water ceremony is different. So with that path, it was first when in the initiation, there's like bathing. So you're like steeping the herbs in the water, and it is like a formula of herbs that is used in the tradition passed down. And then it's like taking a bath every day. So I was just like bucket showering, letting those herbs go into my skin all around me every single day for a period of time. And then also in the water purification or the water ceremonies, there's two altars that I carry from work with there. One is Mayan cleansing ceremonies. In Spanish, they're called limpias. And it's working with the egg and the copal and earth, air, fire, water, and the nawales to take away what we don't need. So it's like a complete cleansing of the spirit body, the physical body, the energy body. And then the water ceremony, you're also calling in the nawales and calling in the 260 possibilities of the Mayan calendar. Yet you're digging a hole in Mother Earth and offering fruit, flower, sweetness into her belly, and creating 4 altars of fire around that water. And you do it by a body of water, either the ocean or a river or lake. So that's what the water path entails.
It's really fascinating. I love the ceremonial process of things. I do. I've been to like some fire, in our own retreats, like the fire ceremony, and I just find they're very powerful. And just setting that intention with the spirits, because we do get so much help from the spirit world. There's no question about it when you invoke to them. So we are blessed that we know that and understand that. But it is time to take another short commercial break. I'm your host, Bob Kolazaric, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We'll be right back right after this.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
It was almost instant, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Bob Kolazaric, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Back with Lena Sofie, Mayan Fire and Water Priestess, ceremonial priestess, and amongst many other things. So it's been great having you here. Welcome back for our sadly our last segment for today. So
I said it goes so quickly.
oh, it does. It really does. So let's just jump right into it. So we wanted to talk. You wanted to share a little bit about the science behind the Mayan fire and water ceremony. So you want
Right.
to take us through that a little?
Yeah. So I love carrying this tradition. I feel very deeply honored. It is so beautiful and it changes people's lives. So when we do the fire ceremony, of course, we come with our intentions and offerings. There's actually no firewood burned at all in the Mayan fire ceremonies. It's all wax and resins and chocolate and tobacco and herbs. So it can be quite an expensive ceremony, especially here in the West. And in Guatemala, it's a little bit cheaper to get all the materials. But it's like that's your payment. That's the offering, that you're willing to burn all that you buy, that you have that much faith in this tradition that it will change your life. And you're making an offering to your life, to the Great Spirit. So that fire becomes a portal during the ceremony. And as I call in the 260 possibilities of the Mayan ceremonial year, that is your chance to touch your timeline. For the Mayans say that the moment we're born into this world, your thread of time, hilo de tiempo, is unraveled, and you have a path in front of you that you walk, and that is your destiny. And when we do the Mayan fire ceremonies, we have a chance to touch that timeline, to touch that thread of time, to rectify ourselves, I say, and to recapture that light that we were born with. So this world hijacks our destiny and our timeline. And it happens in so many ways, through social media, through falsities, through sometimes, unfortunately, religions or institutions or the government, or even going to school or our family or trauma. So that's what we're living in. We have to accept that the world is like this, but we need ceremonies. And other ceremonies can also help you rectify your timeline, but I'm just focusing now on the Mayan fire ceremony and how that does that so beautifully, because we're working with the thread of time. We're working with the ceremonial time that the Mayans have decoded, have preserved for us. And so that's what happens during the Mayan fire ceremony. And it's important for us to realign with why we came here. We all have a purpose. This is not meaningless. This is not purposeless living. But it can easily feel like that in a world that strips us of spirit and meaning, and strips us of community, and has traumatized us and genocided us over and over and over again. All peoples have been genocided, even if that's a word. But, like we've been
We can
traumatized.
make it a word, sure.
Yeah, we'll make it a word. But we've been hurt so deeply, and there's always a force that's trying to destroy that beauty way of living on earth, that harmonious way. And ceremonia gives us that gift. The Mayan ceremony does, and most traditional ceremonies gives us that gift again. So you feel clean, so you feel aligned with your purpose, and you're living that. It's like an agreement we made with the Creator when we came here. We have something to do here, and each one of us is important. So that's part of what I see happening in the Mayan fire ceremony.
No, it's amazing, and I love. It kind of helps. The way I'm interpreting it, it kind of helps jumpstart you into your higher soul and your soul purpose, to kind of nudge you back onto the path that you're supposed to be walking on, to do the work that you signed up to come here to do. Is that kind of how?
Yeah, and to come back in alignment with who you truly are,
Yeah, which is like, to your point, there's so many people. I have clients, and they're in a rut. A lot of them are in a rut, and they're just like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know which way to go. I'm a dad or a mom. I'm a worker bee, and I'm a husband or wife, and that's it. And then they don't identify with anything else. They just don't have that fun aspect. Who are you? Who are you creatively? They just lost total touch with that, and it is terrible.
Yeah, and rites of passage was to answer those questions, especially for the youth. So think about it. We're living in a world now with a lot of adults that are children. We haven't been initiated into our roles, our sacred roles. And it's okay. There's no blame in this. Like I said, there's been so much slaughter of tradition, and we've been traumatized, and these things have been taken away from us. The beauty of the Americas is that I mean, I'm not just saying just the Americas, but I have a lot of experience here. There is still a lot of ceremonies that are intact, but we were supposed to be initiated as a teenager into through trial and challenge to see that we are strong, that we have a purpose, that we have a role beyond just, you know, the things that the society world puts us into. So that's what it is. Why
Sleep,
here?
wake up, eat lunch, go to work, come home,
Yeah,
sleep, and repeat. Yeah, it's crazy.
right. Devoid of meaning. So we need that bridge to the spirit world. And you know, having studied then just to conclude here, you know, wrapping this up, that when I studied psychology and Jungian psychology, I love Carl Jung, like know thyself and his knowledge of the archetypes and the quest to individuate. That's the hero's journey, is to individuate from family and tribe to find your higher self, you know? And I started to see that, like, wow, a lot of the things I've been studying are weaving together. For example, I started out as a young 18, 19-year-old in the Toltec path. And when I studied at Naropa and was learning the Buddhist Tibetan teachings, I was like, wow, these are the same warrior teachings I was learning in the Toltec path and the Shambhala warrior teachings. You know, they were linking for me. Or when I learned so much from North, Central, and South American Native Americans, then I went to Europe to seek the old ways of the old religions of Europe and the indigenous ways, because all people are indigenous, you know, and there was those codes back then, but they also had a genocide. And so I went to the stone circles and found the druids and found the people that studied the old ways. And sometimes it was so lost, I just had to get it through the ethers, through the spirit world. But there I saw a quick little story, like walking in England in a little canyon in an old place. It was like, I can't even remember, something before Christ, BC, a carving. And it's the same carving that I've seen here and the indigenous people have in Arizona, of that labyrinth that you have to go through, same symbol. Or, for example, when I studied somatic experiencing, because I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner, which is a form of trauma healing, prior to that, I was doing a lot of soul retrieval and learning about shamanistic soul retrieval. And when I do somatic experiencing, I'm like, this is, you know, a modern way, a scientific method or a therapeutic method of doing soul retrieval.
Yeah,
So,
it is amazing how the different cultures they blend together, and you know, it might be the words might be a little bit different, but the essence of it is all the same, and it's that ancient wisdom that we really need to just go back to, being in nature and all that. So, yeah, I'm with you 100%. That is truly amazing for sure.
right. And then today in the Mayan calendar is Kan, the snake, which is a symbol for the DNA, the memory. So if we go back far enough, we were all one people. We all have one roots, but we have to go way back to a time that they're not teaching us about. You know, it's in some of the old texts, but it's like just remnants. Because again, there's many worlds that have happened here. And there's a lot of things that's why things bridge and intersect.
Yeah, well, it's great that we have people like you to kind of help keep the traditions alive, you know, and spreading that message. So that's awesome. Hey, do you want to share a couple of the photos that we had on your the ceremony? I think we have that. What do you call that? I'm sorry, I can't. The Mayan fire ceremony, is that what you call it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's not so much important the pictures of me really, but when I wear that traditional headdress and also the huipil, which is the beautiful colored woven top that I wear, you're allowed to wear that once you're initiated. When you're studying, you wear white. You always protect your belly and your head in the ceremonies. Um, but once you're initiated, you're allowed to wear color. And then over here, you can see how there's no firewood for that fire. It's candles, cigars, herbs, resins, chocolate, and the offerings that go on as you go along. So that's kind of how beautiful, and it's always with the flowers. It's so beautiful. And then you have me standing in Guatemala in front of in an altar for San Simon, which is one of the saints that the Guatemalans um, work with. And then you could just see the beauty. Like, I don't know if we'll be able to see that picture because it might not have good resolution, but often the Mayans are not so taboo around taking pictures in ceremony, which was surprising to me because North Native American traditions, definitely there was like no cameras ever, no recording. But the Mayans are okay. So then you can actually see the wales, the spirits, come out in the fire ceremonies. So that's like two examples there.
Yeah, no, I love the one in the lower right-hand corner. That definitely looks like I was thinking it was like a phoenix or something at first, but that's Nawali. Are you saying?
Yeah, well, these two, you could just kind of, I often see like spirit beings, all sorts of things. The other picture I gave you, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's kind of, because it's quite dark and it's kind of not taken with such a good camera. But that's a picture that I took where I have several others that show that's a deer spirit. That's an eagle. I have several eagle or like vulture ones. And then there was a picture I took once in Guatemala where I actually asked for a message. And I think it's either a phoenix or a hummingbird or a quetzal coming out at the top of the fire. So it was definitely like, you can't make that stuff up. It's definitely a sign from spirit.
No, and I love it. Just so you know, I've taken higher clairvoyance courses at the ashram. My show is named pretty much for the ashram in Vine in New York, where we go and we have higher classes of study. And one of the classes on the Kriya Shakti weekend, which is a manifestation workshop weekend that we have, but there's also higher clairvoyance, and we do little, with the candles, and we look for the beings of the fire and all that kind of cool stuff. So definitely. Definitely see things when you're looking for it and you're open to it.
Right.
So for those interested in, let's put up your contact information because we're just about out of time. So for people that want to get in touch with you, you offer different things, right?
Yes, I have many services because you can, as you've heard, my path is long. But I offer somatic experiencing / somatic psychotherapy sessions online and on site, wherever I am. Of course, private Mayan fire ceremonies and water ceremonies, and also for groups. I will be setting up some retreats because I have a Mayan fire ceremony and yoga retreat that is deep in my heart. And I would like to bring it to Honduras, to Roatan, to Sedona, and the Mediterranean, and other places. If anybody wants to invite me to do it where they are, that would be great. I teach yoga. I have a type of yoga that I created, ceremonial hatha yoga, where I infuse the ceremony into the yoga. Because I am bridging a lot of the work that I do. And what else do I do? Mind cleansing ceremonies, mind astrology. That can always be done wherever I am in the world. And that gives you great insight to your Mayan spirit family, to compassion for yourself, to relax, and also to know what animal spirits and gifts that you were born with. I love doing them because
I'm signing up. I'm definitely analytic. I mean, I've had astrologers, and I know a little bit about esoteric astrology, the Mayan astrology. What you're saying right now, yes, sign me up. We'll be in touch because I definitely want to learn more about that. I'm starting to really embrace the animal. What do you call them? The animal spirits.
yeah, animal guides, animal spirits.
Like the wolf is big with me right now. It's been
Yeah.
speaking to me a lot. So, but anyway, thank you so much for being here. It's been so great and enlightening. So, we definitely will keep in touch, and I will get my reading, and I hopefully everybody watching will get that Mayan astrology reading. It sounds fascinating, and we think we all need to learn a little bit more about ourselves. So thank you, Lena Sofie,
Thank
for
you.
being here. So that's got to take another commercial break. I'm Bob Kolazarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. I'll be right back.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Bob Kolazarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. And thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today and being part of this enlightening conversation with Lena Sofie. Lena's journey from a transformative spiritual awakening to become an initiated fire and water priestess of the Mayan tradition has inspired me. I hope it has inspired you. I'm excited to check out more of what she offers there. Her insights into the rites of the passage and initiation ceremonies and the profound science behind the Mayan fire and water ceremonies have left me in awe. So I just really wanted to thank her. We are grateful for wisdom that she has shared, and she's so knowledgeable. You could just tell that the depth of spirit running through her is quite strong. I can assure you of that. So anyway, just want to our audience, thank you for being part of this experience with Lena and me. And I wanted to also let you know I will be taking a holiday break next week for an extended Memorial Day weekend. So as you celebrate, we encourage you to cherish the time with your loved ones, reflect on the significance of the day, and most importantly, stay healthy and safe. And really enjoy your festivities. May this holiday weekend be filled with joy, gratitude, and moments of peace for you. And we look forward to reconnecting with you after the break. So stay safe and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. But before I go and before I wrap up, I just want to say exciting news. I am starting a Friday evening after the show, 8:30 p.m., hosting the meditation on Twin Hearts. Beginning May 31st, every Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. If you watch the show, we talk about the power of meditation on Twin Hearts. So it is a nice way to shake off the week and to just start the weekend with a good vibe. And I would just say, you don't have to hit happy hour Friday night. Small changes, and let's improve the quality of our health a little bit. Save that for Saturday, but maybe Friday night, 2 millimeter shifts. All we need is to create small changes in our life. So you can scan that QR code or visit my website, selfhelpcoachingllc.com/meditation, and you can find the link to the meditation and the registration. It'll be on Zoom. It'll be an hour long. It's a free event, so there's no charge. We'll do some physical exercises just designed to clean our energy body, just eye rolls, some body twists, hip rotations, nothing strenuous, but it just allows the energy to flow out of our body before we do the meditation, which really just lets a lot of divine energy come in, and it cleans our energy body. It calms us. It relaxes us. Get that stillness and start bringing that stillness and awareness in that we really need. And, anybody watches this show for any length of time, I am a big, big advocate of meditation on Twin Hearts. And I am here to just do that as a service to you if you choose to take advantage of it. So I hope you do. So again, next week, have a great holiday weekend. Be safe. And I will be back on May 31st. So until then, namaste. It's been great to be with you.
This has been Greetings from the Ashram with host Bob Kolazarik. Through meaningful conversations and practical insights, this show invites you to explore the endless possibilities for personal growth, healing, and spiritual awakening. Tune in each week to discover how these practices can bring balance and harmony to your life, making it a true journey of self-discovery. Fridays, 7 p.m. on the Bold Brave TV network.